Assalamualaikum guys. So for today theory class, I will give you a teaching video because I have an emergency case. So today I would like to introduce you a new chapter, which is chapter 4. So this is the part 1. So in chapter 4, I would like to introduce you how we design our database. Okay, before you put all the table inside your database, before that you need to design it first. You need to find the primary key, you need to find the entity and whatsoever. Okay, as you can see in here, it says that creating a blueprint with an ERD. ERD means that entity relationship diagram, or in the short form we call it as the ERD. Okay, so what is an ERD? So as you can see, this is the definition. What is actually the entity relationship diagram, or we call it as the ERD. So ERD is a visual representation of different entities within a system and how they relate to each other. So in ERD we can see how each table, how each table it relate each other. Okay, so relate in 3 ways. We have the unary, binary and ternary. Okay, when we say it's unary, the relationship is based on this table only. Okay, when we talk about the binary, it's consist of 2 tables. It's have the relationship each other. Okay, so ternary we have connection of the 3 table. Okay, that is mean about the unary, binary and ternary. As you can see, this is the diagram. 3 type of relationship degree. We have the unary relationship. When we talk about unary, dekat diri dia sendiri. Okay, this one we known as the unary relationship. Binary, it consists of 2 table. For as you can see in here, we have the professor, we have the class table. So this is the relationship between of this one. So professor will teach the one professor will teach the many classes. Okay, so ternary, as you can see, we consist of the 3 table. Okay, so if it consists of the, as you can see, why this one we call it also the ternary, because it consists of here 1, okay, we go to here, this one will go to here, so 3. Okay, this one in here, this one in here, so 1, 2, 3. That's why this one also we call it as the ternary. So usage of the ERD. So as a blueprint to show what is in the database or system, the model for data to help visualize the inside of the database. Before because ini macam blueprint lah, dia macam lukisan. Okay, macam sebelum nak buat bangunan kan, sebelum kita nak buat bangunan, sebelum sesuatu projek nak buat bangunan, dia mesti akan buat blueprint. Blueprint ni macam plan lah. Okay, plan rumah. So senang lepas tu. Sama juga dengan ERD. ERD ni pun macam plan lah, macam plan rumah. Okay, ERD ni pula plan untuk kita buat kita punya designing our database. So ER model in database design, they are widely used to design relational databases. The entities in the ER schema become tables, attribute and converted the database schema. ERD or ER diagram in software engineering. Entity relationship diagram are used in the software engineering during the planning stages of the software project. Okay, ER digunakan sebelum software engineer ni nak buat sistem. Okay, dia nak buat satu sistem UITM. Before wujudnya student portal, okay, sebelum diorang nak buat student portal guys, diorang akan buat dekat dalam planning stage diorang ni, sebelum diorang create the system student portal ni, diorang kena create dulu ER diagram untuk nak tahu siapa yang involved dengan dia, apa entity dia. Dan setiap entity tu mesti ada dia punya attribute. Okay, nak tahu apa attribute dia based on kalau student portal dia mesti ada register student. So bila register student dia mesti ada form. Kan? Dia mesti ada form. So student registration form. So mesti ada nama, mesti ada age. So all of these we known as the attribute for the student. Apa-apa yang berada dekat ni, so kita kenal dia sebagai attribute of this entity. Entity dia siapa? Student. Okay. So entity ni saya dah perkenalkan dulu. When we talk about the entity ni dia boleh jadi macam-macam. It can be a person, places, event or object that we want to store a data, or we want to store data that involved into the system. For example, a school system. Okay, sistem sekolah ni boleh ada yang terlibat dengan sistem sekolah. Entity dia mesti ada student, mesti ada teacher, major cost, subject, fee and other item. Okay, so semua ni menggunakan singular noun. So what is weak entity? Weak entity pun saya dah cerita dah masa chapter yang lepas. So a weak entity is an entity that depend on the existence of the another entity. So weak entity ni dia dependent. Okay, dependent. Contohnya macam ni lah. Order item ni wujud bila order ni ada. Kalau dia tak buat order item ni pun tak ada. Okay, as you can see, this is the symbol that represent the weak entity. Okay, as you can see in here, nampak? Weak entity. So, ni bentuk dia. Kalau entity 4 segi. Attribute dia macam ni. Relationship macam ni. Weak relationship macam ni. Multi-value attribute, dia ada bulat dan 2. Okay, so in more technical term, it can be defined as entity that cannot be identified by its own attributes. It use foreign key combined with its attribute to form the primary key. Maksudnya dekat order item ni, dia tak boleh nak define dia tak ada unique key. Okay, bila sebut unique key, dia tak ada PK. So, dia memerlukan order ni, kalau dia hantar ke sini, PK dia akan jadi foreign key kan. Tapi order yang foreign key kat sini pun dia kena jadi PK juga. Dia lah jadi PK, dia lah jadi foreign key untuk order item. So dia kena dependent dekat order ni. Sebab order item ni dia tak boleh distinguish, dia tak boleh, orang kata dia tak boleh kenal dia punya attribute. Dia mesti memerlukan PK daripada order. Okay? So an entity like order item is good example for this. The order item will be meaningless without an order. So it depend on the existence of the order. Kalau order ni tak ada, ini pun tak wujud. That's why we call it as the weak entity. Dia tiada dia punya unique key ataupun primary key. So dia kena minta tolong, dia kena ambil juga primary key ni, primary key order ni. Okay, dia kena ambil juga. Dan dia primary key order ni dekat sini dia jadi PK dan juga dia juga jadi FK. Itu weak entity. Okay, next is relationship. Apa maksud relationship? A relationship describe how entity interacts. Okay, dua entity ni apa relationship dia? For example, the entity customer may be related to the entity invoice by relationship generate. Okay, yang kat tengah ni. Generate. Label with verb. Example, a customer may generate many invoices. Okay, a customer can generate many invoices. Itu maksud dia. So, generate ni adalah relationship antara customer dengan invoice. Relationship name is an active or passive verb. Relationship between entity always operate in both direction. Ni, customer may generate, one customer can generate many invoice and one invoice can be generated by the one customer. Ni dia. A customer may generate many invoices. Each invoice is generated by one customer. Dia akan baca dua arah. Itu cara nak baca relationship. Relationship classification difficult to establish if we know only one side of the relationship. Kalau kita tahu sini je, kita tak tahu apa relationship, macam mana kita nak define this relationship? So selalunya dia akan dua. Dia mesti ada dua. Okay, dia mesti ada dua relationship. Kalau yang ni unary lah. Ini relationship antara diri dia. Tapi selalunya relationship ni untuk dua entity, dua table. Okay, so what does it mean about the connectivity? Connectivity to describe the relationship classification. Connectivity ni yang tu lah, one to one, one to many, many to many. So, itu masuk relationship classification. As you can see in here, this is the connectivities. This one to many. Okay, so apa itu cardinality? Cardinality is express the minimum and maximum number of entity occurrences associated with one occurrence of the related entity, indicated by placing the appropriate number beside the entity using the format X, Y. So cardinality, this one. Awak nampak tak ni? Yang ini dikenali sebagai connectivity. This one is cardinality. Maksudnya ini adalah minimum, ini adalah maksimum. Maksudnya profesor ni adalah minimum adalah 1-1. Okay. Kalau kelas pula dia boleh, satu profesor ni boleh mengajar satu kelas ataupun lebih. Itu maksud dia. Okay, satu profesor ni boleh ajar satu kelas ataupun lebih. Sebab tu awak nampak ni dan many. This one relationship dia dikenali sebagai teach. This one. Ni relationship, ni connectivities. This one is cardinalities. Okay. So attribute takkan nak cerita lagi. Tak apalah, saya cerita lagi. Kita ingatkan je. So attribute is the property, trait or characteristic of entity, relationship or another attribute. So setiap entity mesti ada karakteristik dia. Kalau student, name, age, phone number, itu semua adalah karakteristik ataupun we known as the attribute. An entity can have many attributes as necessary. Meanwhile, attribute can also have their own specific attribute. For example, the attribute customer address can have the attribute number, street, city and state. So this one kita boleh pecahkan kepada 3 we known as the composite attribute. Okay, ingat satu attribute yang boleh dipecahkan kepada beberapa attribute yang lain, beberapa kolom yang lain, itu kita kenal dia sebagai composite attributes. So multi value saya dah cerita pula tadi kan, sebelum exam saya dah cerita. Multi value ni maksudnya satu attribute tu dia boleh ada banyak nilai. Dia bukan boleh pecah kepada attribute dah tau. Satu attribute tu dia ada banyak nilai. Contohnya, if an attribute can have more than one value, it's called a multi-value attribute. It is important to note that this is different from an attribute having its own attribute. For example, a teacher entity can have multiple subject value. Ni maksudnya subjek ni kita kenal dia sebagai multi-value attribute. Sebab subjek ni dia ada banyak value. Boleh jadi subjek macam awak CSC 405, ada subjek CSC 425. Dia ada banyak value. Sebab tu subjek ni kalau kita lukis je, kalau kita tahu dia adalah multi-value attribute, you akan nampak this one. Kalau attribute biasa dia satu bulat je. Okay, kalau ada 2 bulat ni, you kena ingat this one is the multi-value attribute. For the derived attribute, awak kena ingat derived attribute ni datang daripada pengiraan attribute yang lain. An attribute based on another attribute. This is for really dia jarang lah kita jumpa in ER diagram. For example, for a circle, the area can be derived from the radius. Nak dapatkan nilai area, kita boleh dapat daripada attribute radius. So, kalau bentuk dia you nampak attribute dia pecah-pecah macam ni, this one we known as the derived attribute. Okay. So, this is the ERD notation. Okay, ERD notation dia ada 2 jenis tau. This one chain notation ataupun Crawford notation. Kalau chain notation, bentuk dia macam ni lah. Kotak ni menandakan this one is the entity. This one is also the entity. So this is the relationship. Painter paints painting. So this one is the connectivity 1 to many. Kalau kita guna Crawford notation pula, kita kena buat dia macam ni. Okay, kita buat satu kotak. Atas nama entity tu, contohnya painter. Kat bawah ni, kalau kat sini kita ada PK, kita letak dia punya attribute. Letak attribute yang lain. Itu dia. Yang ni ada juga, letak juga attribute, nanti saya tunjukkan cara dia. Dan kalau Crawford, dia punya ni, garisan ni dia menggunakan macam ni. Okay, kalau yang ini, kalau awak nampak benda ni, ini dikenali sebagai 1 to many. Okay. So kalau many to many relationship, employee can learn many skill, HK can be learned by many employee. So kalau jenis chain notation dia macam ni, sama je, cumanya dia akan tambah MN. Okay. Dan sebenarnya dia ada lagi detail, sekejap lagi saya tunjuk lah. Kalau untuk Crawford dia macam ni lah, many to many. Kalau one to one for the chain, dia letak one one. Kalau employee dia buat ni, one one. Okay. So the types, we have two types. Chain emphasis on modeling. Crawford UML, yang tadi tu kita kenal dia sebagai UML. Both of these focus more on design and implementation. In reality, you can implement your DB from either one. Kalau dalam projek tu awak boleh pilih antara Crawford ataupun chain based on your lecture lab awak. Dia suruh buat yang mana. So this is attribute example, bentuk dia. Ini entity. So dia ada student last name. Ni attribute. Kalau Crawford model, dia jadi macam ni lah. Ni student. Okay, nama table. Student last name kat bawah ni. Kat atas ni contohnya kalau student ID tu adalah PK, dia akan jadi macam ni lah. Stud ID. PK dia akan letak kat atas ni. Yang bawah ni adalah another attribute. Okay, ni Crawford notation macam saya ajar tadi lah. This one is the Crawford notation ni lah. Ni nampak ni. Kenapa dia dipanggil Crawford notation? Sebabnya ni. Dia macam kaki gagak. Okay. So how to read the notation? Professor teach 003. Okay. Professor teach 003 classes is the relationship. This one. Ni relationship. To get the participation. Okay. Participation ni we want to know whether participation ni dia adalah mandatory or optional. Kat mana kita nak tahu? Kita tengok dia punya bentuk. If you see this one, okay, kalau you nampak ada bulat ni, this one we know as the optional. Okay, apa maksud optional? Maksudnya profesor ni, dia boleh tak ngajar dan paling maksimum dia ajar adalah 3. Itu maksud dia tu optional. Sebab tu you nampak dia letak bulat kat sini. Okay, ni cakap class is optional to professor. A class is taught by the one professor is the relationship. Okay, kita baca pula daripada arah ni. A class akan diajar oleh satu profesor dan professor is mandatory to the class. Dia wajib. This one we known as the mandatory. Setiap kelas ni mesti ada profesor. Sebab tu dia buat satu-satu. Okay, satu profesor untuk setiap kelas. Okay, kalau kita nampak macam ni pula, ini juga kita kenal sebagai optional. This one. Maksudnya satu courses boleh generate banyak classes. Okay, dia boleh ada satu course ni dia boleh ada kelas dan dia boleh ada banyak classes. Okay, tu maksud dia. Tapi satu classes mesti wajib ada satu courses. Okay. And kalau you nampak macam ni kat ujung dia tak ada bulat, maksudnya ini adalah mandatory, di mana courses ni wajib generate class. Okay. Dia wajib generate class dan dia boleh lebih daripada satu. Itu masuk mandatory relationship. Okay, so ERD, entity relationship diagram, or we known as the ERD. So this is the database design tool. Use symbol to indicate entity set, relationship and relationship types. Why need ERD? Easily read, easily organize and easily expanded. Kalau orang tak belajar database, kalau baca pun dia nampak lah yang ini apa, yang ini apa. Dia macam lukisan. Okay, ni ERD symbol and design lah. Untuk chain ni untuk chain. Sebab saya akan ajar untuk chain notation. Sebab untuk crew senang je. Chain ni dia macam complicated sikit. Okay, dan selalu soalan keluar kalau you perasan, you tengok past year, semua berbentuk chain. Okay, ERD symbol entity, ingat dia petak. Relationship mesti letak dekat dalam diamond shape ni. Composite entity, kalau dia adalah composite entity, masuk composite entity ni PK dia ada composite. Okay, dalam entity tu dia ada composite PK. So you kena letakkan dia macam ni lah. Okay, ni optionality yang bulat tu lah. Okay, macam ni. A weak entity yang tadi tu lah kalau dia dependent. Ni contoh dia lah. Ini adalah entity customer letak dalam bentuk kotak. Okay, so dia pergi ke sini, dia akan generate is relationship, dan dia akan generate many invoices. So dia punya connectivity is one to many, dan cardinality adalah 1 minimum maximum, dan invoice ni wajib ada satu. Okay, akan jadi mandatory. Kalau yang ini adalah 1 ini adalah 1 to 1. One employee we generate one pilot. Okay, so pilot ni boleh jadi ada employee, dan boleh di minimum adalah kosong dan maksimum adalah 1. Okay, kalau yang ni dia wajib, employee wajib generate satu pilot dan satu. Tu dia. So employee ni ini adalah contoh, sebenarnya ini adalah contoh many to many sebenarnya. Tapi bila many to many, kalau awak nampak many to many punya relationship, you kena pecahkan dia, you kena tambah composite entity dekat tengah-tengah ni. Okay, you tak boleh tinggalkan many to many macam ni You kena pecahkan, jadikan dia sebagai composite entity ataupun bridge entity. Untuk pecahkan baru dia jadi one to many. Okay, ni pun one to many. Nanti kita akan tengoklah yang jenis many to many. Okay, next is the NERD methodology. Okay, first we have untuk buat ERD, first you kena identify entities. So identify the role, event, location, tangibility or concept about which to the end user want to store. So find relationship. Okay, relationship macam tu generate ke apa semua. Find the natural association between pair of the entity using the relationship matrix. Draw rough ERD. Put entity is rectangle and relationship on line segment connecting entity. Kat sini kita gunakan chain notation. So fill in the cardinality. Determine the number of occurrences of one entity for a single occurrence of the related entity. Selalunya semua benda ni ada dekat dalam soalan. Kita kenal dia sebagai business case. Okay, define primary key. Identify the data attribute that uniquely identify one and only one occurrence of each entity. Kalau dalam projek tu, you kena create your punya business case sendiri. Okay, you kena buatlah sama ada cardinality dia tu untuk satu entity ni berapa minimum dengan maksimum dia. So next kita draw key based ERD. Eliminate many to many relationship. Bila you jumpa many to many relationship, you kena eliminate you kena pecahkan dia menjadi one to many. Itu you kena tambah composite entity. Okay, and include primary and foreign key in each entity. So sebenarnya dipanggil bridge lah. Okay, dekat tengah-tengah dipanggil bridge. So dekat sini kita akan letak primary key and foreign key dekat setiap table yang terlibat many to many. So now identify attributes, name the information detail field which are essential to the system under development. Map attribute, for each attribute match it with the exactly one entity that is described. Draw fully attribute ERD, adjust the ERD from step 6 to account for entity or relationship discovered in step 8. Okay, masukkanlah semua and check the result. So does the final entity ERD accurately depict the system data? Dia memenuhi tak? Apa yang awak nak simpan ada tak? Kalau you nak simpan nama student, ada tak? Bila student masukkan nama, ada tak tempat nak simpan tu? You wujudkan tak dia punya attribute? Tu maksud dia. So ini simple example lah. Ini contoh example lah dalam final. Selalu dia akan bagi awak satu business case. Ini dikenali sebagai case study. Okay, so first you kena baca lah. A company has several department. Okay, satu company ada banyak department. Each, nampak? Each department has a supervisor and at least one employee. Dia ada satu dan boleh jadi banyak lah. Okay, at least one employee. Employee must be assigned to at least one but possibly more department. Dia boleh setiap tu mesti ada employee. Setiap department boleh ada dia employee, dan dia boleh ada banyak, but possibly more department. At least, okay, one employee is assigned to a project, but an employee may be on vacation and not assigned to any project. The important data field nama lain dia adalah attribute. The name of the department, the name of the project, the name of the supervisor and employee, as well as the supervisor and employee nama and unique project number. So ini semua detail dia ada kat sini guys. Semua relationship ada di sini. Okay, first kali kita kena dalam metodologi tu, method dia first kali we need to identify the entities. Kalau kita tengok dekat sini, kat sini kita dah nampak. First dia ada department. Dia ada supervisor, employee, lagi department supervisor, lepas tu dia ada project. Kan? Okay, dia ada 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, dia ada department, employee, supervisor and project. And akan ada orang tempted to make company to entity. Tak boleh lah. Company ni adalah benda yang besar. Okay? Dia tak boleh. So, but it is false entity because it has only one instant in this problem. Dia ada satu je kewujudan dia. Kewujudan dia tu ada satu je. Tengok A company has several department, that's all. So, company ni, dia nak join dengan siapa? Dia wujudnya, dia punya, orang kata dia tak ada kaitan dengan siapa-siapa. Dia tak ada keluar pun dekat mana-mana dekat bawah ni. So, that's why company tidak sesuai. Okay? Cakap because it has only one instant in this problem, true entities must have more than one instant. Ni lah. First, each department has supervisor and at least one employee. Lepas tu employee pun ada dia ulang. Department pun dia ulang lagi. Lepas tu project. So ada lagi tak? Any project. So dia banyak occurrence. Setiap kali tu dia ada berkaitan dengan orang kata dengan entity yang lain. Okay, termasuk dia. So yang kedua kena find the relationship. We construct the following entity relation matrix. Dia gunakan matrix. Cara matrix lah. Dia ada row dengan column. Okay, row dengan column. So dia buat department, dia letak entity, department, employee, supervisor, project. Lepas tu dekat column department, employee, supervisor and project. Okay, dia pun tengok. Department dengan department ada apa-apa tak? Tak ada, dibiarkan kosong. So, department dengan employee. Kalau kita baca, dia akan assign employee. Employee must be assigned at least one, okay, more department. Okay. So, dia akan jadi, okay, employee, department is assigned employee. Maksudnya. So, department run by supervisor. Ada tadi, nanti you check So, department ada kaitan tak dengan projek? Tak ada. So, biarkan kosong. Employee ada tak kaitan dengan department? Ada tadi, employee belongs to department. Employee tak ada. Employee supervisor pun tak ada. Employee works on project. Okay, ada. Ni relationship, nampak? Ni relationship. Boleh tengok daripada ayat tu. Supervisor run department. Ada lagi tak? Dia tak ada. Yang lain tak ada kaitan. Project department tak ada. Project use employee. Okay. So ni tak ada. Ni tak ada. So sekarang kita dah dapat relationship dia. Is assigned, run by, works on, belong to and runs and use. Okay. So kita akan draw rough ERD. We connect the entities whenever a relationship is shown in the entity relationship matrix. So kita tengok kat sini. First kita ada department. So department kita buat kotak. Department relationship letak dalam diamond. Department run by supervisor. Letak dia dalam kotak. Department is assigned employee. Okay, ni belum kita boleh letak relationship dulu tau. The employee works on project. Kita baru buat rough dulu. Secara kasar, kita lukis dulu. Masukkan apa yang kita dah dapat. Kita dah dapat relationship, kita dah dapat dia punya entity. Okay, next. Barulah kita akan fill in cardinality. Cardinality apa? Maksimum dengan X and Y. maximum, and minimum, maximum dia. Berapa kali dia, maksudnya berapa kali dia boleh ambil benda tu. Contohnya daripada from the description of the problem, we see that each department has exactly one supervisor. Each department exactly, maksudnya kena ada satu. Okay, one supervisor. So, one. Part cardinality dia. A supervisor is in charge of one and only one department. So, sebab tu ni pun one, ni pun one. Okay. So, each department is assigned at least one employee. Each department is assigned at least. At least maksudnya dia boleh satu, dia mesti ada satu dan lebih. Sebab tu kat sini department ni, each department is assigned at least one employee. So dia akan jadi each department, okay, will be assigned to many employee. Okay, at least one. Sebab tu dia ada macam ni. Okay, so is assigned is the relationship. Each employee works for at least one department. So sebab tu dia jadi macam ni. Each employee work at least one. Maksudnya one, many juga. Nampak dia relationship many to many ni kena hati-hati ni. Okay, each project has at least one employee working on it. Each project has at least one employee work on it. Okay, each project at least works on one or many employee. An employee is assigned to zero or more project. So, an employee assigned to zero or more project. Tu cara dia. Okay, tu cara nak dapatkan cardinality. So next kita akan define primary key. So kat sini kita ada we have 4 entity, department, employee, supervisor and project. The primary key are, sekarang yang kita tahu based on the description tu, kita hanya tahu the important data field ada names of the department, name of the project, name of supervisor and names of employee dan juga name of the and also the supervisor and employee number. Dan dia dah terang-terang cakap this one is the unit for the project entity. So yang kita boleh dapatkan dia punya primary key. Kalau department name, primary key are, kalau department, kalau dalam entity department kita letak department name sebab dia ada ni je dia. Kita jadikan dia ni sebagai primary key. So employee pula, okay, employee dia ada employee name and semua kan, tapi dia ada cakap dia ada employee number. So kita boleh pilih employee number as the primary key. Untuk supervisor pula dia ada gunakan supervisor number. So kita pun pilih number ni sebagai primary key. Dan project pula memang terang-terang lagi bersuluh, dia kata project number is the unit. Tu cara nak dapatkan primary key of each entity. Okay, kat sini dah dapat tu, baru kita akan draw key based ERD. There are too many relationship in the rough ERD above between department and employee and between employee and project. So dia ada many to many. So bila ada many to many, you kena pecahkan dia dan you kena wujudkan associative entity ataupun composite entity. Okay, ataupun composite entity, di mana dekat tengah-tengah tu you kena wujudkan lagi satu entity, dia beri nama department employee project. So the primary key for department employee is the concatenated key department name dengan employee number. So dia akan gabung lah, primary key dia digabungkan daripada department dan employee. Kalau employee project, dia akan ambil primary key, employee number dan project number. Concatenate ni maksudnya to connect or link in a series of change. Okay, nak gabungkan dia menjadi composite key sebenarnya. Okay, composite primary key. So dia akan jadi macam ni lah. Kalau dekat department dia hanya ni je key data dia. So kita tulis key data. So department name sebagai PK1. So ini relationship dia. So supervisor kita kena isilah key dia. Kita kena isi key dia. Next, supervisor kita tahu key dia adalah supervisor number sebagai primary key. Kalau employee department, nampak? Dia pecahkan, dia wujudkan ni diberi nama composite entity. Kalau daripada bentuk chain dia akan jadi macam ni. Ni kalau bentuk chain lah. Okey, ni bentuk Crawford So employee department, key data dia adalah department name sebagai PK1FK, employee nama sebagai PK1FK. Ni dia kata dia menggunakan composite number, composite key. So dia akan jadi one to many. So employee ni pula dia akan bergabung ke sini lah. Dia akan bergabung. Kan tadi id dengan ini many to many kan. So sekarang dia akan jadikan dia sebagai one to many. Sebab tu employee number ni, PK ni akan masuk dekat dalam ni. So next dia ada many employee works on many project. So kita kena pecahkan dia, wujudkan lagi satu entity. So dia jadi employee project nama dia. So key data dia adalah employee number dengan project number. So dia akan jadi one to many. Dan kat sini pun akan jadi one to many. Tu maksud dia. Bila ada many to many, pecahkan dia. Wujudkan satu bridge. Inilah. Ataupun wujudkan orang tengah. Okay. So identify attribute. The only attribute indicate are the names of the department, project supervisor and employee, as well as the supervisor and the employee number and the unit project number. So dia akan jadi macam ni lah. Department dia ada department name, employee dia ada employee number, employee name. Supervisor dia ada supervisor number dengan name, dan kita kena masukkan ni kat dalam ni nanti dalam diagram. So project ada dua, project name dengan project number. So bila kita masukkan dia, kita kena masukkan semua dan menjadi draw fully attributed ERD. So department ada satu je kan? Kita check department ada satu je. Okay, employee ada dua, so dia akan buat macam ni. Ni employee, ni. Dia ada key data adalah employee number, non key data adalah employee name. Lepas tu kita ada supervisor, supervisor pun ada dua. Okay, so key data dia adalah supervisor number, non key data adalah supervisor name. Kita susunlah, kita masuk. Kalau dekat project dia ada key data, project number, non key data, project name. Okay, dah susun dah. Kita dah masukkan semua attribute. So dapatlah satu fully attribute ERD. Okay. So ini adalah step to complete an ERD. First identify the business rule, BR. Yang tadi tu lah, yang this one. Ya, ni semua kita kenal dia sebagai business rule. Okay, BR dia. Okay. So make a list of entities. List all the step ketiga, list all the simple relationship between entities. Define the connectivity, cardinality, weak and optional relationship kalau ada. Merge the simple ERD into one ERD, placing the most occurring entity in the middle if possible. Kalau contoh lah, macam employee ni, setiap kali dia ada berkenaan dengan dia ni, connection dia banyak. Employee dengan table yang ni, dengan table yang ni pun ada, dengan table yang ni, letak dia dekat tengah-tengah. Employee letak dia dekat tengah-tengah, itu maksud dia. ERD are difficult, they are as much of an art as they are the result of step-by-step process. It takes practice. So in the next section, which is the part 2, we will take an example and go through the step. So part 2 nanti saya akan bagi beberapa example, kita akan buat bersama-sama. InsyaAllah kita akan guna Gmeet. Okay guys, so to be continued, so we will continue for the next week, part 2. Part 2 kita akan buat 2 example. Dia bagi awak use satu case study, kita akan pecahkan dia menjadi business rule, dan dari situ kita akan buat ERD. So tengoklah sama ada saya nak gunakan chain notation ataupun saya nak gunakan Crawford diagram. Okay guys, so that's all for today classes. We will meet again next week. Okay guys, thank you and Assalamualaikum.